Question 1 leaves remainder 1 when divided by each of 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. It would be the lowest common multiple of 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 plus 1. And that would be 60. That's the lowest common multiple of them. So therefore the answer is 61. But you could potentially say that the answer is 1, you know, because, well, yeah, it would be 1 actually, because 0 does leave, divided by all of these gives 0. And, yes, I think it would actually be 1. Okay, so the next one would be 61. Question 2. 3 fair coins are tossed. What is the probability of exactly 2 heads? All right, so there are 8 events in total, and exactly 2 heads would mean a tails either in the first spot or the second spot or the third spot. And therefore it would be 3 out of 8, or as a percentage it would be 37.5%. Question 3. How many whole numbers from 1 to 1000 contain at least 1 digit 5? All right, well, so we have to be careful about this. All right, so there are 5. Right, so there are 100 which have in their units place. But then for each block of 100, you have 10 which have 5 in their tens place. So that would be 10, and then 9 on the outside of that in each block of 100. So that would seem to be 19 times 10. But then you have all those numbers in the 500s. So it would be 100 plus 19 times 9, I think. And 100 plus 19 times 9 well, that would be 100 plus 171, which is 271. Question 4. From 4 men and 3 women, how many 3-person committees contain more women than men? All right. Hello. 4 men and 3 women. Let's see now. Okay, so 7 choose 3, isn't it? No, because they're not unique. Let me just think about this. Alright, so the first way to satisfy it is 2 men and 1 woman. Okay, and how many ways are there to do that? Well, that would be 4 choose 2 times 3 choose 1. And 4 choose 2. What's that? 6. 3 choose 1. So 6 times 3 is 18. And then the other possibility is oh no, beg your pardon, it's actually more women than men. Alright, so I have to rethink. Alright, so it would be 3 choose 2 times 4 choose 1. So that would be 3 times 4, which is 12. And then the other possibility is choosing 3 women, so 12 add 1, so 13. Question 5. What is the exact angle between a clock's hands at 20 past 7? At 20 past 7. Alright, so let's see. 20 past 7. Alright, so that's 90 degrees plus 10 degrees, so that's 100 degrees. Question 6. If February 1st falls on a Friday in a non-leap year, on what weekday does March 1st fall? Alright, so I believe the answer is Friday. Question 7. What is the smallest 3-digit palindrome divisible by 3? 3-digit palindrome. Okay, I think it's 111. Question 8. 2 dice are rolled. What is the probability that total is exactly 9? Exactly 9. Alright, so there's 6 and 3, 5 and 4, 4 and 5, 3 and 6, so that's 4 out of 36. So 1 out of 9. Question 9. On an island of truthful knights and lying knaves, Bo says, Sai and I are different kinds. And Sai says, Bo is a knave. What is Bo? Alright, let's see now. Okay, so well, if Sai is a knave, then Sai is lying. And he's lying about Bo being a knave, so what he's actually saying is Bo is a knight. And Bo says Sai and I are different kinds. All right, so that satisfies that. So I think the bow is a knight. Question 10. In how many distinct ways can the letters of the word apple be arranged? All right, so apple contains 5 letters, and the number of ways to arrange 5 letters is 120. But it contains 2 copies of the letter P. So every single possibility which features the 2 copies of the letter P, you can't tell which way round they are. And therefore you have to divide 120 by 2, so you get 60. Question 11. A 200-meter train passes a signal post in 10 seconds. What is its speed in meters per second? All right, so I'm going to assume that it means the front touches the signal post or just passes it, and then the back 10 seconds later passes the signal post. Okay, so the train, all right, let's think. 200 meters plus the length of the train in 10 seconds. Oh, sorry, the length of the train is 200 meters. All right, so 200 divided by 10 is 20. So it seems to be 20 meters per second. That seems to be right. Question 12. What is the units digit of 9 raised to the 99th power? So you have to consider the powers of 9 for this. So that would be 9, then 81, then 729, and you can clearly see that it's alternating between 9 and 1 in the units digit. And the 99th power is an odd power, and therefore it would end in a 9. Question 13. How many prime numbers lie between 90 and 100? I think the answer is 1, and that prime number is 97. Because 91 is 7 times 13, 93 is 3 times 31, 95 is 5 times 19, and 99 is, of course, 3 squared times 11. And we need only consider the odd numbers. Question 14. What is 7 to the 8th power divided by 7 to the 6th power? Well, that would be 7 to the 2nd power, which is 49. Question 15. A hospital that accepts the sickest patients has the highest death rate. Does that prove it gives the worst care? No, it doesn't. I don't believe that it does. Right. No, yes, I don't believe that it does. Question 16. Which English number word has all its letters in alphabetical order? Okay, so we can exclude 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the answer is 8. Question 17. Spell algorithm backwards and then determine what is the fifth letter of the reversed word. So algorithm backwards would be MHTIROGLA. And then you have to find the fifth letter of that reversed word. So it would be R. Question 18. What number comes next? 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, 16. So that's 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, 16. All right, so if you look at the differences between 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, and 15, it goes up in natural numbers. And therefore the next number should be 22 because you add on 6 to the number 16. Question 19. What number comes next in this sequence? 2, 5, 10, 17, 26. 2, 5, 10, 17, 26. So looking at the differences, we see 3, 5, 7, 9. So it appears to be going up in odd numbers. So the next number should be 37 by adding 11 to 26. Question 20. What number comes next in this sequence? 1, 4, 10, 20, 35. That is 1, 4, 10, 20, 35. So looking at the differences, we see 3, 6, 10, 15. All right. Okay. What appears to be going on here? 1, 4, 10, 20, 35. It goes 3, 6, 10, 15. So I think it's going up in the triangle numbers because there's an implied 0 before, so it goes up. The pattern of differences is 1, 3, 6, 10, 15. So it should next be 21 higher than 35, which is 56. Question 21. Start with 2000, add 30, add 1000, add 40, add 1000, add 20, add 1000, and then add 10 and find the total. Okay, so that's 4,100. No, wait, that's not right. It should be 5,100. Okay. Question 22. A helium balloon floats freely inside a car that turns sharply left? Which way does the balloon swing? All right, so the balloon would appear to swing to the well, I'm not sure. I mean, I think it should swing towards the back car, I think, but I don't know. Question 23. From a shuffled standard deck, what is the probability the top card is an ace? So there are 4 aces in a standard deck of cards. So it would be 4 out of 52, which is 1 out of 13. Question 24. Some artists are dreamers, and all dreamers are optimists. Must some artists be optimists? Yes. Yes, that must be true. Question 5. All poets are readers, and some readers are critics. Does it follow that some poets are critics? No, it doesn't follow. That's not true. Question 26. Rain always wets the ground, and the ground is dry. What follows about rain? What follows is that it's not raining. Question 27. What is the smallest 2-digit prime whose digits add up to a prime? All right, so that would be 23. Because it can't be anything in the tens, because prime numbers have to be odd, and an odd makes an even. And so it's in the 20s, and it's 23. That's the answer. Question 28. What is the greatest common divisor of 84 and 126? All right, so I think the answer is 42. Question 29. What is the least common multiple of 12 and 18? The answer is 36. Question 13. How many edges does a square-based pyramid have? The answer is 8, I think. Question 31. How many faces does a regular octahedron have? The answer is 8. Question 32. A cube has surface area 54. What is its volume? Well, a cube has 6 faces, and 54 divided by 6 is 9. So the area of a face is 9. Then the square root of 9 is 3. So one of its faces is 3 by 3. And so its volume must be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27 cubic units. Question 33. A rectangle has a diagonal of 13 and one side of 5. what is its area? So 13 squared is 169 and 5 squared is 25. So 169 minus 25 is 144. So the other missing side is 12. It's the classic 5, 12, 13 Pythagorean triple. So now we have to do 5 times 12 to get the area, which would be 60. Question 34. Doubling a circle's radius multiplies its area by what factor? The answer to that would be 4. If you make it twice as wide, you make it cover 4 times the amount of area. Question 35. How many ways can 3 of 5 different books be arranged in a row? Okay, so first you have to ask yourself how many ways are there to choose 3 books out of 5 books. 5, so that would be 5 choose 3. And the answer to that is 10. And then for each of those 10 possibilities, you have to multiply it by the number of ways in which those can be rearranged, which would be 6 each. So it would be 10 times 6, so the answer would be 60. Question 36. Drawing 2 cards without replacement, what is the probability both are hearts? So the chances of drawing a card with hearts on it from a standard deck is 1 out of 4. However, in this case, you are drawing 2 cards without replacement. So drawing the first hearts card would be 1 out of 4, but drawing the second hearts card would be 12 out of 51. So 1 over 4 multiplied by 12 over 51, which is 3 over 51, which is 1 out of 17. Question 36. Oh, rather, question 37, actually. A single die roll pays its face value in dollars. What is the fair price to play? Well, for that, you need the expected value, don't you? Which is 3.5, so $3.50, I believe. Question 38. 40 is what percent of 250? So you can do 40 over 250 and then times the top and bottom by 4 to get 1,000, and then cancel top and bottom by 10 to get 16 over 100, so 16%. Question 39. What is 16% of 25? So 16 times 25 is 4. Well, the answer would be 4. The final answer would be 4. Question 40. Rearrange the letters of the word teacher to name someone dishonest. All right, that would be cheater. Question 41. Rearrange the letters of the word married to name a devoted fan. Okay. A devoted fan. All right. Question 42. What letter comes next in this series of capital letters drawn only with straight lines? It goes A, E, F, H, and then I. So I think it would be the letter K. Question 43. What is the minimum possible number of Fridays in a 31-day month? All right, so to get the worst case possible, you have to make sure that the month begins on Saturday, and then there is on the 1st, on the 8th, on the 15th, on the 22nd, and on the 29th. The 1st, the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. And then the last few days don't matter, but there is a Friday in these gaps, and there are 4 of them, so the answer is 4. Question 44. If March 15th is a Tuesday, what day of the week is April 5th? So March has 31 days. So Tuesday will land on 22nd, March 29th. And then March 30th will be Wednesday, March 31st will be Thursday, and April 1st will be a Friday. So then you have Saturday the 2nd, Sunday the 3rd, Monday the 4th, and Tuesday, which is April 5th. Question 45. A pipe fills a tank in 2 hours, while an open drain empties it in 5. How long to fill it with both running? So a whole tank is filled in 2 hours. So it's filling half of a tank per hour, the pipe is. And the negative 1/5 of a tank per hour. And so a half plus negative 1/5 makes 3/10. So we're getting a filling rate of 3/10 of a tank an hour. So it's 1 divided by 3/10. So that would be 10/3. So it would be 3 and a third, 3 hours and 1/3 of an hour, so 3 hours and 20 minutes. Question 46. 5 numbers average 20, and removing 1 drops the average to 18. What number was removed? All right, so 5 numbers, so their total was 100, necessarily. And now, having removed one of the numbers, their total must be 72. So 100, so their total has gone from 100 all the way down to 72. So the number removed must have been the number 28. Question 47. A recipe uses flour and sugar in the ratio of 5 to 2. How much sugar goes with 15 cups of flour? All right, so that would be 6 cups of sugar. Question 48. A cyclist rides 24 kilometers out at 12 kilometers an hour and back at 8 kilometers an hour. So what is her average speed? All right, so I'm going to assume that 24 kilometers is the distance from her home to the destination, because it's ambiguous language. So 2 hours there, 3 hours back, so 5 hours in total. So 5 hours to cover a distance of 48 kilometers. And so 48 divided by 5 is 9.6. So 9.6 kilometers an hour, under my assumption. Question 49. One worker does a job in 4 days and another in 12. How many days do they take if they work together? This is going to be me assuming that it's a parallelizable task like painting a wall. So the first does the whole job in 4 days, so that painting one wall at a rate of a quarter of a wall per day, and then the other one is a 1/12 of a wall per day, essentially. So their combined speed would be 1/4 plus 1/12. 1/4 plus 1/12 is 3/12 plus 1/12, so 4/12, so 1/3. So 1/3 of a wall per day. So it would take them 3 days if they work together. Question 50. Fires attended by more firefighters cause more damage. Do the firefighters cause the damage? No, does not follow. Because they may be more dangerous fires and more damaging fires, and that's why more firefighters attend them. Question 51. Pilots praised after perfect landings tend to land worse the next time. Does this show that praise backfires? No, it doesn't show that, because it's a perfect landing, and so it's difficult to get two of those in a row, but I don't quite know what they're asking. Question 52. Is a random English word more likely to begin with K or to have K as its third letter? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Question 53. How many people are needed in a room before the odds that two share a birthday exceed 1/2? Alright, so I think this is called the birthday paradox or something like that. And I think the answer is something unexpected, like 19 people or 21 people or something, but I can't remember. Question 54. What is the sum of the digits of 10 billion minus 1? So 10 billion minus 1 has 10 digits, and all of them are the number 9. So you have to do 9 times 10, and the result is 19. Question 55. What is the decimal value of the binary number 1011? Well, that would be 1 plus 2 plus 8, which is 13. All right. Question 56. What is 44 plus 16 expressed in Roman numerals? Well, 44 plus 16 is 60. And the Roman numeral for 50 is L. So it would be LX. Question 57. What is each interior angle of a regular 10-sided polygon? So of a regular decagon. All right, so all the interior angles add up to 8 multiplied by 180, which is 1440, and then you have to divide that by 10 to get just one of them, and that would be 144 degrees. Question 58. How many degrees does a minute hand sweep in 25 minutes? So 25 minutes, well, every 5 minutes it sweeps 30 degrees, so it would be 30 degrees times 5, which is 150 degrees. Question 59. Of 100 students, 60 take French, 50 take Spanish, and 20 take neither. So how many take both? All right, so 80 students would take at least one, and 60 and 50, they have to cover 80. All right, so that would be that would be 30. The answer would be 30 because it would be 30 that take only French, 30 that take both, and then 20 that take only Spanish, and those totals work out correctly. Question 60. How many cards must you draw from a full deck to guarantee holding all 4 suits? All right, so the absolute worst case scenario, where the deck of cards is somehow conspiring against you, would be where you draw, well, I think the answer is just simply 40. But how to justify that? Well, let's pretend that the hearts in the deck of cards are conspiring against you and they always avoid you. So you have to draw every other suit before you draw a hearts because they get to conspire against you somehow. And there are 39 cards in all the other suits combined, 13 times 3. And on the 40th card, you must draw a hearts. And so that covers all 4 suits. All right, question 61. Anne is allergic to fur. Ben's pet barks, and the 3 pets are a dog, a cat, and a goldfish. Which does the 3rd owner, called Cal, keep? Well, Anne should have a goldfish. And Ben owns the dog, so shouldn't Cal own the cat? I think so. Question 62. In the sentence, this statement is false. Is the sentence, this statement is false, is that true or false or neither? I think the answer is neither. Because if it's true, then it's false, and if it's false, then it's true. Which is a paradox, so it's neither. Question 63. What is the next prime number after the number 89? So I think the answer is 97. Question 64. What is 15% of 15% of the number 400? Well, 15% of 400 is 60. And 15% of 60 is 9. Question 65. What is 3/4 divided by 3/8? So that would be 3/4 divided by 3/8, so 3/4 times 8/3. 3/4 times 8/3 is 2. Question 66. What is the reciprocal of 0.2? Because 0.2 is 1/5, the answer should be 5. Question 67. What is 2 to the 5th power times 2 to the 3rd power? Well, that would be 2 to the 8th power, which is 256. Question 68. What is -3 cubed? The cube of -3 is -3 times -3 times -3, which is -27. Question 69. What number comes next in this sequence? 2, then 6, then 30, then 210. All right, so it appears that we have to multiply by 3, then by 5, then by 7. So next you would multiply by 9. So 210 times 9 is 1890. Question 70. If A is 1, B is 2, and so on, what is the sum of the letters in cab? Well, that would just be 3 add 1 add 2, which is 6. Question 71. Which month's name contains the most letters? All right, so we could just simply go through all 12 of them and enumerate them just for completeness sake. So January, has 7, February has 8, March has 5, April has 5, May has 3, June has 4, July has 4, August has 6, September has 9, October has 7, November has 8, and December has 8. So it would be September, which has 9. All right, so question 72. What is the only common English word ending in the letters M, T? All right, which word ends in M followed by T? Dreamt, the past tense of dream. Question 73. What common English word both begins and ends with the letters U, N, D? All right, so I'm going to suggest the word underfund. Question 74. A clock seen in a mirror appears to read 3 o'clock. What time is it really? All right, so I think that the answer to that is 9 o'clock. I think it's 9 o'clock. Okay. All right, so question 75. Fold a sheet of paper in half 4 times. How many layers thick is it? Right, if you fold it in half once, it's 2 layers thick. If you fold it in half twice, it's 4 layers thick. So 2, 4, 8, 16. It should be 16 layers thick. Question 76. A 5 by 5 by 5 block of small cubes is painted on the outside. How many small cubes have no paint at all? Alright, so that would be all the interior cubes. So that would be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Question 77. A couple has 3 children. What is the probability all 3 are the same sex? Alright, so if they have 3 children, there are 8 possible male and female combinations, and male, 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 and female, female, female cover 2 out of 8, so that's 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. Question 78. 2 dice are rolled. What is the probability of doubles? Alright, so there are 6 possible events out of 36 possibilities, so 6 out of 36, which is 1 out of 6. Question 79. Is the number 111,111 divisible by 7? Alright, so 11 divided by 7 is 1, so remainder 4. And then 41 divided by 7 is 5, remainder 6. And then 61 divided by 7 is 8, remainder 5. 51 divided by 7 is 7, remainder 2. And 21 divided by 7 is 3. So yes, it is divisible by 7. And the answer, when you divide it by 7, is 15,873. Question 80. What is the digital root of 987? So the digital root is when you keep on adding up the digits until you get down to just one digit. So 987, if you add those digits up, you will get the number 24, and then you add those digits up and you get the number 6. Question 81. Tokyo is 9 hours ahead of London at 11 p.m. Tuesday in Tokyo. What time and day is it in London? Alright, so it should be Tuesday, and it should be 2 p.m, shouldn't it? Because it's 9 hours ahead. Question 82. $100 grows by 10% a year for 2 years. What is the final amount? $100 grows by 10%, it's now $110. And then that grows by 10%, so it's now $121. Question 83. What is the median of these numbers that I'm about to say? 7, 3, 9, 5, 11. Alright, so if you arrange those in order, it should be 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. And the middle number is 7. That's the median. Question 84. No heroes are cowards, and some soldiers are heroes. Must some soldiers not be cowards? Okay. Yes, that's true. Those soldiers that are heroes are the ones that must not be cowards. Question 85. If some swans are black, does it follow that some black things are swans? Yes, that follows. Because some of the black things are the black swans, right? Question 86. Which is larger, the number of seconds in one day or the number of minutes in 61 days? All right, so now you could calculate this by brute force. The number of seconds in a day is 60 times 60 times 24. And the number of minutes in 61 days is 24 times 60 times 61. So it should actually be the latter. All right, so question 87. How many words are in this very question? Well, the answer to that is 8. Question 88. What is the remainder when 100 is divided by 7? So the answer to that should be 2. Question 89. What day of the week falls exactly 1,000 days after a Monday? Alright, so you have to be careful here. You have to be very careful here. 7 days after a Monday is, of course, another Monday. So what multiple of 7 is just below 1,000? Well, the answer to that is 994. Hello. So the 994th day is a Monday. But anyway, 1001 is a multiple of, so 1001st day is a Monday, so the day before that is a Sunday. So that's the answer. Question 90. 9 teams each play every other team exactly once. How many games are played? All right. So that would be 8, 7 plus 6 plus 5, all the way down to 1. So it's the 8th triangle number. So that's 8 squared plus 8 divided by 2, which is 72 over 2, which is 36. Question 91. What is the probability of rolling at least 1 6 in 2 rolls of a fair die? All right. At least 1 6 in 2 rolls of a fair die. Okay, so that's the same as rolling a pair of fair die. So it would be 11 out of 36. Question 92. Right triangle of 9 and 12. What is its hypotenuse? So you would apply the Pythagorean theorem. You would do 9 squared plus 12 squared, and then find the square root of that. So that would be 81 plus 144. which is 225, and the square root of that is 15. And that's the longest side, that's the hypotenuse. Question 93. Taking pi as 22/7, which is an approximation, what is the perimeter of a semicircle of radius 7? Alright, so the actual answer to this is, let's think about it. Well, for an ordinary circle it would be 2 pi r, that's the circumference, but for a semicircle it would be pi r. So in this case it's 22/7 multiplied by 7, so that would be 22. So 22 plus twice the radius, so 22 plus 14, which is 36. Question 94. Which number's English name has its letters in reverse alphabetical order? Alright, so I think it's just simply because 1 is spelled O-N-E, and O is the 15th letter, N is the 14th letter, and E is the 5th letter of the alphabet. Question 95. A car's odometer reads 15,951, a palindrome, and exactly 2 hours later shows the next palindrome. So what was the average speed? Alright, so the next palindrome after 15,951, well, it's tempting to think that, I mean, what you would simply do is you would edit middle digit. So it would be 16,061. And the difference between those two is 110 kilometers or miles, whatever it actually happens to be. And now 110 divided by 2 is 55. So 55 kilometers an hour, 55 miles per hour, whichever one is the actual unit. Question 96. How many rectangles of any size can be found in a 3x3 grid of unit squares? Alright, so we're going to be pedantic and we're going to go with the idea that a square is a rectangle. We could do. Actually, we won't. So we're going to consider 2x1 rectangles first. Alright, and then on the rows, so we have 2 on each row, so 2, 4, 6. And then we have for the columns 2, 4, 6, so 12 thus far. And then 3x1s. So that would be another 6 added on, so that would be 18. 18 proper rectangles, followed by, well, actually that's not quite right. There would be 18, which are like that, but then you have to consider the 2x3. So there would be an additional 4 of them. So it would be 22. So that's it. That's the real answer to this question. Question 97. Water jets from 2 holes in a full bucket. One near the top and one near the bottom. Which jet lands farther away? Alright, so Right, so I actually think that they should land at the same place. No, they shouldn't. That's wrong. It should be the jet on the top. The jet on the top. Alright, question 98. On the airless moon, a hammer and a feather are released together. Which lands first? I think that they land at the same time. Question 99. Which letter sits exactly 5 positions before Q in the alphabet? Right, so Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. And so it would be the 12th letter of the alphabet, which is the letter L. In question 100, multiply the number of letters in the word Wednesday by the number of vowels in the word education. Alright, so Wednesday has 9 letters, and there are 5 vowels in the word education, so it should be 9 times 5, which is 45. And that finishes.